We should have you now as we're back. Sorry, guys. The joys of swapping back and forth between setups is you try to get all the bugaboos, everything off, and this time it works, and I should be on the proper microphone as I'm dealing with a little bit of a delay here with the old computer doing its thing and being delayed, but that's fine. We'll clear everything out. Yeah, I got you, local pundit, that I was muted. I believe I'm good now. You'll have to let me know and keep me posted as we go through here. Perfect. It is game day, and what a fascinating day it is. Don't mind the chaos behind me. The apartment is in our possession. In 2 weeks did the deficiencies. There are boxes everywhere around me. I'm swimming in it as we're moving and figuring out all of the things life, but that you guys don't need to hear about that. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening if you're watching on the Red Horde. To those of you over on Global Watch Along, thanks for joining, and make sure you hit the like button. And yeah, we're after it. The lineup has been released. If you haven't caught it, I can bring that out. It's already brought up for you. One of the moves that I was really hoping for came to fruition. One of the moves I was kind of curious whether it would happen and whether we'd have a benefit didn't happen. So let's talk about them. Crepeau and net. Let's go through the lineup. It makes sense. Arguably the best keeper in the tournament so far. Him and his counterpart today. Probably in the running for top goaltender of the tournament, I would have to assume, based on the games that I've seen and the statistics that are out there. So Max Crepeau, the curly hair, is that what it means? Who's got to be there? Morgan Edgar, how are you? Got the trophy going. Hey, and if you're Argentinian and you want to show up, I'm all for it. If you're there, feel free to subscribe and chat. If everybody's civil, I love it. You don't have to be Canadian to be here. I know we've got Americans and I know we're probably going to get some Welsh. So let's throw it all in there and have a good time. I will be biased. That's the only thing. Going to the rest of the lineup, Johnson, Bombito, Cornelius, Davies in the back line. Let's be honest, Bombito and Cornelius have rescued Canada, and I will put most of the success of Canada on them. Schaffelberg is getting a lot of credit. David's getting a lot of credit. Davies, Crepeau. But to me, Bombito and Cornelius, our back line was garbage. Sorry. I don't like Kamal Miller as an option coming off of the bench. And I'm going to turn off the kid speaker here. Nap time in the household, and sometimes people don't want to go to sleep, but fortunately I don't have to worry about that. Bombito and Cornelius have been a find, and I say that because Cornelius is only on his 10th cap today. I should look that up just to make sure. Remarkable, kind of out of nowhere, the Colorado man, he's fast, and you watch some of the highlights that you see on YouTube of him in the MLS catching up on people. He's a workhorse. Controversial? Sure, today's going to be his 11th cap, by the way, just for the record. And Bombito and Cornelius playing in Malmo over in Sweden. He had some success with Canada, went away, came back. Just a measure of confidence. And so for the first time, I think ever for me, I've got some confidence in what's happening in the back line. Davies goes without question. Johnson, the Celtic man, goes without question. They've been solid. The big question for me was who's going to be in our midfield, and the midfield I include as the two in the 4-2-3-1 that we run. And I know Eustachio pencil him in. To me, Eustachio, I know I'm not going to get a lot of favor for this. He should be the captain. I like him more than Davies in that role, but that's fine. Davies is solid and still awesome and the best player that we've got. Eustachio, to me, exceptional leader, solid, confident. He's the guy, the Porto man in the middle of the pitch. But I wanted to see Kone, and we've gone with Osario, more experience, over Kone and his talent. Kone is hit or miss. You're going to get one of two different versions from him. You're either going to get the version that has a whole bunch of bad passes, and that was one that we saw in the second group match against Chile, that I think ended up having him to take a step away from being a starter, where if you have the version that you saw against France, he was unbelievable. And that's why he signed the big contract for Marseille, moving from Watford over to there. So he gets the run. So I like the youthful league. Marie, how are you? Pleasure to have you and to see you. You're always there for the watch along, and I appreciate it. Links are down below, by the way. Yes, Fox Sports 1 or 2, you guys will have to let me know, down in the US. TSN CTV2 in Canada, and anywhere else, livesoccertv.com will let you know where it's at. So Kone getting the shot, I like that. Hopefully we get the best version of him, because if we do, that's the best we can hope for, and you've got to throw the best at Argentina if you're going to go forward. Larea, potentially, I thought maybe you could go with Miller on one side and swap them over, but we've decided to go with Larea, who's always solid, and he is our FS1, perfect. Thank you, pundit. Josh is there rescuing me in times of trouble. So Larea, the Band-Aid, he plays everywhere. He's been in the back line, he's been in the midfield, he's been on the wings, he's been everywhere. And yes, David versus Goliath, 11 times underdogs, is that what it is, to win in regulation? For just almost 5 times, according to Vegas, to win it in penalties. We're behind the 8 ball. Before I get through one more roster discussion, Kyle Larin hasn't been there. He's missed a couple shots. Now, when I say hasn't been there, that is Canada's top scorer of all time. Jonathan David's going to pass him here in the next little while. But Larin has been our guy, and he hasn't looked himself in probably a year for the Reds, Les Rouges. So do I want Oluwase? I don't know if he can run out for 90 minutes. I don't know if that's too big of a call for Argentina, but that was the other option that I saw. So going back to Argentina, okay, let's be honest. Since 2019, 5 years ago, in July moving forward, they have lost only 2 matches. 2 matches. World Cup qualifying match against Uruguay just a little bit ago, and go all the way back to the first round of the World Cup where they lost to Saudi Arabia. Is it possible? Yes. Do I expect it? Hell no. Do I want it? You're absolutely damn right I want it. And do I think they could do it? I think that we have a team that can actually beat Argentina, and maybe that's just craziness talking. Maybe that's just pomp and pageantry. But look, they're an older squad, and they went out with Di Maria and Messi today. I'm not saying Messi's not in GOAT competition. I'm not saying he's not an exceptional player now, but they've got a slower lineup than we've got. We've got pace, we've got counter-attack ability, and when we played with them in the game that we lost 2-0, we ran with them. We had our opportunities. We couldn't finish. Look, if they scored on all their opportunities in that game, they probably should have had 6. If we scored on ours, we probably should have had 2, maybe 3. We still would have lost. But if Crepeau has a game, if the back line is there and Bombito Cornelius can do their thing, it'll be a fascinating tale. And so Argentina definitely going to be an exceptionally tough ask, the hardest ask we could ask for in the world. World Cup defending champs, Copa America defending champs, number 1 in the world, 2 losses in 5 years. But why not? And so I'm just, how crazy is it I'm actually talking about this for Canada in the World Cup. We didn't do what we wanted to do. We were the Kings of Concacaf out of the qualifying, and then we fell apart. So interesting social media stuff, man. Copa America, the best part about it is how much social media buzz there is about it. And we've got lots of it to talk about if you wanted to get through it. Is my glasses are either crooked as all hell and I've bent them, or the camera's just off. But it's annoying me, so don't mind me if I fix this live. It's a fascinating topic of looking at all of the sidebars. A lot of people in Argentina and Chile and Peru, and not so much Venezuela, I think, in that one, but certainly during the group stage, we're talking about Canadian soccer bribing its way to success. But one thing that's fascinating, if you can go to social media and go to Selección Argentina, whatever their Twitter account is. Hey, MDR, nice to see ya. Go to their jeepers. Go to their Twitter account and translate some of the posts, and you will see people who talk about Canada bribing officials and all that sort of thing. Canada soccer has no money. That's been the issue that was under protest by the players for the last couple of years, is we had no money. We're going to get at least $4 million for this tournament, and if we can make it and win, if you win third, you get an extra $1 million. You win fourth, you get an extra $2 million. You win the whole thing, you get like an extra $10 million. So there's some money on the books, and I think those are US dollars. So that's like $1 billion Canadian. But there's that as a sidebar, is the talk about how this has been won already by Canada, which I find fascinating. The other topic that you also find is the racism, and not one I want to talk about or dwell on for too much, but Bombito had a challenge against Messi in the one where he scored the goal, where he made some pretty physical contact with him, Messi running towards the ball before he chipped it off for the goal. And my word, did he get peltered on social media with I don't need to repeat it, but whether it's the emojis, whether it's the statements, there are a lot of South Americans who don't believe that Canada looking at the pictures that you see, is represented well in our Canadian roster. They are all Canadian by all different reasons. Canada is an immigrant country by definition. The only people who can claim to have been from here are the Indigenous, and unfortunately we don't have any of them in the roster. But we take in people, whether that be through refugee status, like we did Alphonso Davies, whether that be people through social capital, we've got them. Canada Bell Edits, you made it back. Thank you. I was worried about you because you were at the last one and I couldn't do the Venezuela match because of work commitments. I was supposed to be in court today, but it got adjourned. And so that opened this all up. But I love what Canada is, obviously, but we are a diverse country and not a melting pot. We're a mosaic. We each stand for who we stand for, and I embrace that. And so the racism thing will be potentially interesting, success or failure, once this is all said and done. And we wind everything up. Whew, turn that light off to try and get rid of that at the background. It is a hot one here. I'm not going to wear anything more than the lightest t-shirt I've got. And I've got the fan on, so you'll probably hear that in the background. And we're not changing anything. What do we talk about? The Argentinian lineup here, I'm just going to go to the roster and let that tick through here. There's the Argentinian roster. What's fascinating to me about Argentina, and let's go through this, their caps are almost double the number of caps that Canada has had. They've been playing top-level competition the whole way through. They've been scoring all the way through this. RKO wants to talk about that. Let's bring it up. I've got the chat here.